Recently, I did some math that I wish I hadn't. My son is 13. I sat down and calculated how many weeks I have until he's 18. 220 weeks. 220 weekends. 220 Saturdays. 220 more times I watch him walk out the door to go to school. Before the door he walks out of is the front door of my house for good. And that number wrecks me because I realize I'm not in the middle of this journey anymore. I'm closer to the end than I thought. And it forces me to ask a question I've been avoiding. Am I actually preparing him to leave, or am I just trying to keep him close? See, I had this picture in my head of what good fatherhood looks like. It looked like my kids needing me, coming to me for advice, staying close, staying connected. And that's not bad. Connection matters. But here's the lie I didn't see. If I'm doing this right, they'll always need me. That sounds like love, but it's actually control. Because the goal of fatherhood isn't to raise kids who need you. The goal is to raise adults who are ready to leave. And that realization changed everything. Here's what I learned. The first thing I had to face, I'm not raising kids, I'm launching adults. We use the word raising like the goal is just to get them bigger, feed them, clothe them, keep them alive until they're 18. That's not what the scriptures say. Listen, this is Psalm 127. Children are a heritage from the Lord. Offspring are a reward from him. Like arrows in the hands of a warrior are children born in one's youth. Did you catch that? Children are like arrows. Not trophies, not collectibles, not possessions to keep. Arrows. And what do you do with an arrow? You launch it. An arrow that stays in its quiver is useless. It might be safe. It might be close, but it's not fulfilling its purpose. The whole point of an arrow is to be sent. And the whole point of fatherhood is to prepare your kids to be sent. And then actually let them go. 220 weeks. That's how long I have to shape that trajectory. To aim the arrow to make sure that when I launch my son into the world, he flies straight. I'm not just raising a kid, I'm launching an adult. Here's the second thing I learned. Dependence isn't the goal. Equipped independence is. This one is hard for me because honestly, it feels good to be needed. When my daughter asks me for help, I feel like a good dad. When my son comes to me with a question, I feel important. But here's what I had to ask myself. Am I solving their problems because they need me or because I need to feel needed? There's a difference between a kid who can't function without you and a kid who chooses to include you. One is dependence, the other is relationship. This is what it says in Genesis 2:24. This explains why a man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife, and the two are united into one. A man leaves his father and mother. That's the design. That's the goal. That's what we're aiming for. Not kids who can't leave, kids who are ready to leave. And here's the truth. If my son can't make a decision without asking me first, I haven't equipped him. I've created dependence. If my daughter can't handle failure because I've rescued her from every single thing that's hard, I haven't protected her, I've crippled her. The goal isn't to raise kids who need me. It's to raise adults who are equipped to thrive without me, but who still want me in their lives. And that's a completely different target. Here's a third realization, and this one kind of stings. Your job as a dad is to work yourself out of a job. Every other job I've ever had, success meant becoming more essential, more needed, more irreplaceable. But fatherhood's the exact opposite. Success means that they don't need you anymore. Think about it. When my son is 25, what does success look like? It doesn't look like him calling me every day because he can't figure life out. It looks like him calling me because he wants to, because we have a relationship, not because he's helpless. Deuteronomy 6 talks about how we're supposed to teach our kids. We've looked at this before. And you must commit yourselves wholeheartedly to these commands that I am giving you today. Repeat them again and again to your children. Talk about them when you are at home, when you're on the road, and when you are going to bed, when you're getting up. Repeat them again and again when you're at home, on the road, going to bed, getting up. Why? So they memorize it, so it gets inside of them, so that when they leave, and they will leave, that they can carry this with them, that it's planted inside of them. You're not teaching so they'll always need a teacher. You're teaching so the lesson becomes theirs. In 220 weeks, that's 220 more weeks of repeating, modeling, transferring that I've got. And then launch. Here's what I'm understanding. The goal of fatherhood isn't to raise kids who stay close because they have to. It's to raise kids who are ready to leave and who choose to stay connected because of the relationship we built. Arrows are made to fly. Your job is to aim well and let go. And that's the hardest and most important thing a father will ever do. So, how do you actually do this? 3 dad reps that you can start this week. Simple steps that will get you on the path to biblical fatherhood. These aren't a magic bullet, just a starting point. Dad rep number 1, ask, what do you think? Before you give the answer. When your kid comes to you with a problem, don't solve it immediately. Ask them first, what do you think you should do? This builds character. It builds decision-making muscles. It teaches them to think before they act, instead of just waiting for dad to fix it. I slowly started doing this with my son. He's 13. He needs to start owning his decision, because in 220 weeks, I won't be there to make them for him. Dad rep number 2, let them fail forward. Stop rescuing them every time they need to be rescued from a consequence. Let them experience controlled failure now so they don't experience catastrophic failure later. Like, forgot their homework? Let them take the 0. Didn't study? Let them bomb the test. Made a bad choice with their money? Let them feel the loss. Failure's a teacher. And if you keep firing the teacher, they'll never learn the lesson. Dad rep number 3, bless and release. Start speaking over your kids who they are and who they're becoming. You're a man of integrity. You're a woman of wisdom. I see leadership in you. God has a purpose for your life. You are a child of God. That's what blessing is. Calling out their identity before they fully see it themselves. And the release part, it means you're preparing them emotionally for the launch. You're saying, you're going to be okay. You're ready for this. Bless them, then release them. 220 weeks. It's what I have left with my son before he's an adult. I could spend those weeks trying to keep him close, trying to keep him dependent, trying to keep him needing me, or I can spend them preparing him to fly. Here's the bottom line. The goal of fatherhood isn't to raise kids who need you. It's to raise adults who are ready to leave. So this week, ask, what do you think before you give the answer? Let them fall forward. Bless and release. Because arrows aren't meant to stay in the quiver. They're meant to fly. This is the final episode of the Father Formed series, and if this series has helped you at all, if even one episode made you think differently about being a dad, please share it with another father who needs to hear it. Comment below, subscribe, and go be the dad your kids need you to be. Not perfect, not an expert, just present, consistent, and ready to launch. See you next time, fellas.